Nietzsche's silence weapon is why winners talk less and win more. And you think talking makes you powerful? Wrong. Nietzsche figured out 140 years ago what neuroscience just confirmed in 2024. Every word you speak is a power leak. Every explanation is a strategic disadvantage. Every time you justify yourself, you're telegraphing weakness to people who are studying you. And they are studying you. Here's what breaks the average person's brain. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of history's most influential philosophers, wrote about silence as a weapon. Not meditation silence, not Zen silence, strategic silence, the kind that makes people uncomfortable, forces them to reveal themselves, and positions you 3 moves ahead while they're still trying to figure out your first move. Princeton's 2023 Behavioral Psychology and Power Dynamics study tracked conversation patterns in high-stakes negotiations across 247 corporate deals. They found something disturbing. The person who spoke less controlled the outcome 78% of the time, not because they were smarter, because silence created information asymmetry. While one party talked, explained, justified, and revealed their position, the silent party gathered intelligence, identified emotional triggers, and calibrated their response with complete information. You're giving away your power every time you fill silence, and you don't even know it. Before we dive deeper, hit like and subscribe so you never miss our videos, and share this with someone who needs to see it. I'm going to show you the 3 Nietzschean operating systems that turn silence into strategic dominance, not philosophy theory, practical frameworks backed by neuroscience that separate people who influence from people who get influenced. Let's break down the actual psychology. Nietzsche wrote, "Silence is worse. All truths that are kept silent become poisonous." But here's what most people miss. He wasn't telling you to speak. He was telling you that your silence forces others to speak, to fill the void, to reveal the truths they were trying to hide. This is psychological warfare, dressed as conversation. Stanford's 2024 neuroscience laboratory study on conversational dynamics measured brain activity during strategic silence. They found that when someone encounters unexpected silence, their anterior cingulate cortex activates. This is the brain region responsible for detecting social threats and errors. The silent person's brain stays calm, observational, in data collection mode. The speaking person's brain goes into threat response, starts generating explanations, begins revealing information they never intended to share. 67% of subjects in the study revealed strategic information within 90 seconds of silence they weren't planning to disclose, just by not talking. Think about your last negotiation, your last difficult conversation, your last conflict. How many times did you explain yourself, justify your position, try to make them understand? Every word was intelligence you gave to someone who was using it against you. And here's the part that will make you uncomfortable. The most powerful people you've ever dealt with probably said almost nothing. They asked questions, they listened, they made you do all the work while they calculated exactly how to leverage what you just told them. That's not charisma. That's strategic silence. University of Chicago's 2024 Leadership Communication Analysis studied executive presence across 418 senior leaders. They discovered that leaders perceived as most influential spoke on average 41% less than their peers during strategic discussions. Their silence wasn't absence, it was presence amplified. Carnegie Mellon's 2024 Behavioral Research on Power Perception found that individuals who maintained composure and silence during conflict situations were rated as 29% more competent and 34% more trustworthy than those who immediately defended themselves. The data is overwhelming. Silence signals strength. Now, before I break down the 3 operating systems, let me tell you about a tool that applies the same principle of strategic intelligence gathering to your investments. Simply Wall Street gives you the information asymmetry advantage in financial markets. While most retail investors react emotionally to price movements, Simply Wall Street lets you observe the fundamentals that actually matter. Intrinsic value calculations, debt health analysis, future growth projections, and dividend sustainability metrics, all visualized so you can make decisions with complete information, while others trade on headlines and fear. The same principle applies. The investor who gathers intelligence silently before acting out performs the investor who reacts to every market movement. Simply Wall Street is your silent intelligence advantage. Links in the description. Use it to stop reacting and start strategizing. Now let's get into the 3 operating systems. Operating System 1. The will to power through observation. Nietzsche's concept of will to power gets completely misunderstood. People think it means domination. It doesn't. It means the fundamental drive to assert and expand your influence, your perspective, your position in any hierarchy. And here's what he knew that neuroscience just proved. Observation is more powerful than action. MIT's 2023 Cognitive Load and Decision Quality Research studied executive decision-making under information asymmetry. They tracked 189 executives across high-stakes business decisions. The executives who gathered information silently before acting made decisions with 43% higher success rates than executives who engaged immediately. Not because they were smarter, because they had complete information while their opponents had partial information. Nietzsche wrote, "The snake which cannot cast its skin has to die." When you speak first, you lock yourself into a position. When you stay silent, you remain flexible. You watch them commit to their position, reveal their assumptions, telegraph their strategy. Then you strike from an angle they never prepared for. Harvard Business School's 2024 Negotiation Dynamics and Outcome Analysis quantified this across 312 salary negotiations. Candidates who spoke less and asked more questions received offers averaging 31% higher than candidates who explained why they deserved more money. Why? Because explanation is defense. Defense signals weakness. Weakness gets exploited. The silent candidates gathered information about budget constraints, internal politics, competitive offers, decision-maker priorities. Then they made a single, calibrated move with complete information. The explaining candidates gave away their salary expectations, their desperation level, their alternative options, and their negotiation ceiling, all before the company even made an offer. That's not a negotiation. That's a confession. This is the will to power through observation. You don't dominate by talking, you dominate by collecting intelligence while they volunteer everything you need to destroy their position. Operating System 2. Master morality and frame control. Nietzsche's master-slave morality framework is the most dangerous psychological concept nobody teaches you. Slave morality defines itself in relation to others. I'm good because I'm not like those bad people. It's reactive, defensive, constantly justifying itself. Master morality defines itself independently. This is what I value. This is what I'm doing. Your opinion is irrelevant data. And here's where it connects to strategic silence. Every time you explain yourself, you're operating from slave morality. You're defining yourself in relation to their judgment. You're giving them frame control. Yale's 2023 social psychology study on frame control and influence measured conversation dynamics in leadership contexts. They tracked 437 managers across 6 months. Managers who explained their decisions experienced 47% more pushback and 33% lower team compliance than managers who simply stated decisions and moved forward. The explaining managers signaled that their decisions were up for debate. They invited challenge. They operated in a frame where their authority required justification. The silent managers signaled that the decision was final. The frame was set. The only question was implementation, not validity. Johns Hopkins 2024 Neuroscience Research on Authority Perception studied brain responses to leadership communication styles. When leaders explained and justified decisions, subjects' brains showed increased activity in regions associated with evaluation and judgment. When leaders simply stated decisions without explanation, subjects' brains showed increased activity in regions associated with action planning and compliance. The explanation invited challenge. The statement invited execution. Nietzsche wrote, "You have your way, I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist." This isn't relativism. This is frame control. When someone challenges your decision and you explain it, you've accepted their frame. Their frame says your decision needs their approval. When someone challenges your decision and you simply restate it or stay silent, you maintain your frame. Your frame says your decision exists, independent of their approval. Columbia Business School's 2023 Executive Communication Analysis tracked C-suite executives across 892 board meetings. Executives who used fewer words and less explanation maintained strategic initiatives 71% more often than executives who provided detailed justifications. Because detailed justifications give opponents ammunition. Every reason you give is an angle of attack. Every explanation is a vulnerability to exploit. Master morality operates from silence. It doesn't justify. It doesn't explain. It simply is. This is frame control through strategic silence. You don't defend your position. You make them defend why they're questioning it. Operating System 3. Perspectivism. Here's where Nietzsche gets really dangerous. He argued that there are no facts, only interpretations. Before you think that's postmodern nonsense, understand what he meant. Everyone processes information through their biases, their incentives, their psychological patterns. The person who understands multiple perspectives controls which interpretation dominates. And silence is how you gather those perspectives. University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School 2024 Strategic Communication Study analyzed venture capital pitch meetings across 206 investment decisions. The investors who spoke less and asked more open-ended questions identified misrepresentation and inflated projections 83% more accurately than investors who engaged in detailed discussion. Why? Because silence forces complete revelation. When you stay quiet, people keep talking. When people keep talking, they eventually contradict themselves. When they contradict themselves, you see the truth underneath the presentation. Nietzsche wrote, "There are no facts, only interpretations." Strategic silence lets you collect all the interpretations before you decide which one serves your objectives. Think about your last job interview, your last sales call, your last first date. How much did you talk? How much did they talk? If you talked more, you gave them information leverage. They now understand your motivations, your alternatives, your pressure points. You understand almost nothing about theirs. Northwestern University's 2023 Behavioral Economics Laboratory studied information asymmetry in business development conversations across 1,043 interactions. The party that spoke less had 64% more accurate predictions about the other party's BATNA, budget constraints, and decision timeline. More speaking equals less information. Less speaking equals more information. It's not intuitive, but it's quantified. This is perspectivism weaponized. You stay silent, they reveal their perspective. You use their perspective against them while never revealing yours. So let me ask you something. How many negotiations have you lost this year? How many times did someone outmaneuver you in a conversation? How many conflicts ended with you wondering how they knew exactly what to say to beat your position? They didn't outsmart you. You outsmarted yourself by talking. Because here's what I've learned training over 10,000 high performers. The people who dominate conversations aren't the best speakers. They're the best listeners. They're not the most charismatic. They're the most patient. They understand what Nietzsche understood. Silence is pressure. Silence is intelligence gathering. Silence is strategic superiority. So how do you actually implement these operating systems? Because philosophy without application is just intellectual entertainment. Chronicle 1, the 90-second silence release. Starting Monday, implement this in every high-stakes conversation. After someone makes a statement, proposal, or argument, stay silent for a minimum of 90 seconds before responding. Not awkward silence, observational silence. You're not ignoring them. Princeton's 2024 Conversational Dynamics research found that 90-second pauses triggered additional information disclosure in 74% of interactions. People cannot tolerate silence. They will fill it. And when they fill it, they reveal information they weren't planning to share. Here's how it works practically. Someone proposes a deal. Stay silent for 90 seconds. 74% of the time, they'll add sweeteners, reveal constraints, or modify terms in your favor, without you saying a word. Someone makes an accusation. Stay silent for 90 seconds. They'll either escalate and reveal their true motivation, or they'll backtrack and reveal their phishing. Someone asks your opinion. Stay silent for 90 seconds. They'll share their opinion first, giving you complete information to calibrate your response. The 90 seconds isn't arbitrary. MIT's 2023 Social Cognition Laboratory found that 90 seconds is the threshold where discomfort peaks, but hasn't yet turned into offense. It's maximum pressure with minimum relationship damage. Rewrite your entire communication strategy. Stanford's 2024 Influence and Persuasion study tracked communication patterns in successful versus unsuccessful influencers across business contexts. Successful influencers had question-to-statement ratios averaging 3.4 to 1. Successful influencers gathered intelligence before committing to positions. Unsuccessful influencers committed to positions without intelligence. Here's the framework. In any conversation, before you state your position, ask 3 questions about their constraints. Before you make an offer, ask 3 questions about their priorities. Before you explain yourself, ask 3 questions about what they actually want to know. Questions give you information leverage. Statements give them information leverage. It's that simple. Yale's 2024 negotiation psychology research found that negotiators who maintained 3-1 question ratios achieved outcomes averaging 42% closer to their ideal outcome than negotiators who explained their positions extensively. Because questions force them to define the frame. Once they define the frame, you can operate within it, around it, or destroy it. But you can't do any of that until you know what the frame is. You're going to become deliberately hard to read, not mysterious, not aloof, just strategically non-committal until you have complete information. Leaders who maintained strategic opacity about their decision-making process and personal positions until decisions were final experienced 56% less internal resistance than leaders who shared their thinking process openly. Why? Because transparency gives opponents a roadmap to change your mind. Opacity forces them to accept outcomes without understanding the path. Here's the implementation. Someone asks why you made a decision. Because it serves our objectives, no elaboration. Someone asks what you think about their proposal. I need more information. Someone asks about your constraints. What constraints are you operating under? Redirect. You're not being rude. You're not being evasive. You're maintaining information asymmetry until you decide it serves your interests to reduce it. Columbia Business School's 2024 Executive Strategy Analysis found that executives who revealed less about their strategic thinking maintained competitive advantage 49% longer than executives who shared their thinking process with stakeholders. Because once people understand your decision-making framework, they can game it. When your framework stays opaque, they can't predict you. When they can't predict you, they can't prepare against you. Now let me tell you what's going to happen when you implement these protocols. People are going to call you cold, calculated, distant. They're going to say you've changed, that you're not authentic anymore. And here's what you need to understand. Those people benefited from your transparency. They used your explanations against you. They exploited your need to be understood. They took advantage of your openness. Now you're closing those vulnerabilities, and they're mad that their advantage disappeared. So they'll frame your strategic silence as a character flaw, your information discipline as dishonesty, your frame control as manipulation. Because that's easier than admitting they were manipulating your openness all along. Nietzsche wrote, "And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music." You're hearing music they've never heard. They'll call you insane for dancing to it. If this content is transforming how you think about power dynamics, consider joining our channel membership. Members get early access to new frameworks, exclusive breakdowns of advanced influence tactics, and direct implementation guides that go deeper than what we can cover in public videos. It's how you take these concepts from theory to daily practice. Links below the video. The choice is simple. Keep exclaiming yourself to people who use your explanations against you, or upgrade to strategic silence that puts you 3 moves ahead while they're still trying to understand your first move. One path feels authentic and keeps you average. The other feels calculated and builds empires. But here's what Nietzsche knew that nobody tells you. Authenticity is just another word for predictable. And predictable people get exploited. Strategic silence isn't cold. It's just expensive to people who need your transparency to maintain their advantage. Remember the 3 operating systems: the will to power through observation, master morality and frame control, perspectivism and information leverage, and the 3 protocols: the 90-second silence rule, question density over statement density, strategic opacity framework, design days that build empires.